standing in the way of closure.
Which might be why you're hearing so much positive talk from the Democratic conference leader and the Assembly Speaker.
Look, I think the legislature is a little nervous. They're not used to being in a position where the governor is taking the action to them. They've also got the circumstance where the electorate's a little edgy out there, and there are a number of vulnerable senators in both parties, and there are a number of upstate Assembly members, mostly Democrats, who have never been vulnerable, who are now feeling vulnerable because the environment is just weird, and they don't know how people will react. Bruce's scenario makes sense on paper, but then these guys are going to have to take votes they normally would not want to take,
correct.
and then they're going to have to live with them in a funky political environment where there's no predicting what's going to happen.
And maybe it's better for them if they say, well, you know, the governor forced our hand because he's not running for election. We had to vote on this. Sorry, guys, we didn't have a choice.
But that would require a level of trust and working together that they haven't established before. That's why I think the better approach would be, or the better is the wrong word, the more fruitful would be the legislature agrees two-way on it, they bring it to the governor, and the governor can veto what he doesn't want, and then you have a budget.
Okay, let me just...
Here's the sad part about this whole thing is that all this is about strategy and
rational.
tactics, and none of it is about what's the right decision to make for the state of New York.
That is
and
true.
that's
Not one
unfortunate.
And I just want to
And he's
change
right.
tax for just one second because it's going to be, you know, we have to. Lasagna Gate, it's like what everybody's talking about. Yes, the budget, etc. But this situation with Andrew Cuomo's mom, Matilda, the former First Lady, and his girlfriend, the Food Network star Sandra Lee, has really everyone talking. Every blog out there is people. You had Curtis Sliwa making the lasagna and bringing it to people in Little Italy. It went over like a house of fire.
It went over like a lead lasagna, which pretty much is what you have with cottage cheese and tomato soup. Look,
I have two Italian men here. I just have to say,
if you had ever tried to feed a Bella Fiore lasagna made with tomato soup and cottage cheese, you'd be wearing cement shoes.
Or the Celestino family from my mother's hometown of Amsterdam, New York. Cottage cheese and tomato soup is not lasagna. Normally, if you're Andrew Cuomo, the better position is to back your significant other on the theory your mother will at least forgive you. But in this, since it's not lasagna, you can't call it lasagna, so it's not. So you shouldn't back Matilda.
And he needs the Italian vote, by the way. You don't really want...
And I think Andrew was very careful in saying he hasn't eaten this stuff.
Yes.
Listen, I'm Sicilian on both of my parents are Sicilian. You do not screw around with this. Yes. Matilda Cuomo was exactly right. That's not the way you make a lasagna, and Andrew shouldn't eat this stuff.
Okay, we are going to leave it here. Final word to Bella Fiore. Also, thank you very much.
I concur. Thank you.
With Bruce Story, thank you very much, gentlemen. As always, it's been a pleasure speaking with you.